Yeah, but we're going to do solving equations, but today we're going to solve special equations, and those equations have fractions on both sides, and so we call them proportions. A proportion is just an equation with fractions on both sides. So here we have fractions on both sides. One of the sides has a variable. Just like when you're solving regular equations, want to we want to have the variable by itself, and so we have to get everything away from it. The way that we typically start these is a little bit different. There's a couple ways to do these, so you find the way that's good for you. I will show you one way. If you don't like that, please feel free to ask to show you a different way. So I'm going to do this thing called cross multiplying. That's where we take the top of one side, the top of one fraction on one side of the equal sign, and multiply it by the bottom of the fraction on the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to multiply 6 and x. And so when I multiply those together, I can just write them next to each other as 6x. So I'm going to multiply the top of the other fraction by the bottom of the other one, 2 times 2. And I'll show that using parentheses, just to make good habits. And I'll put an equal sign between those, because the equal sign cannot go away. And now we can solve this like a regular equation. So I can do 2 times 2 and get 4. I want to move that 6 away from the x. Right now, the 6 is multiplying the x, so when I move it over to the other side, it's going to do the opposite operation to 4. Right now, it's multiplying x, so when I move it over, it's going to divide 4. So I want to show you how we can take this fraction 4 divided by 6, 4 divided by 6 in our calculator. It's going to give us a decimal. We don't want to round, we want an exact answer, which means we want to read our answer as a fraction. So one way we can simplify, we always want to simplify, is we can put our fraction in the calculator here, and over on the left side, there's this little fraction circle. If you click that, it's going to turn 4 divided by 6 into its simplest version, 2 divided by 3, and that's what we're going to report as our answer. X equals 2 over 3. Same idea here. I'm going to multiply the top of one fraction by the bottom of the other, so 9 times 8. I'm going to use parentheses to show my multiplying. Then I'll multiply the top of the other fraction by the bottom of the other one, so 3 times r. We can write those next to each other. And now I can solve. 9 times 8 is 72. Right now that 3 is multiplying the r. When I move it to the other side of the equal sign to get it away from r, instead of multiplying, it's going to divide 72. And I can do 72 divided by 3. I can do it in my calculator, just in case I'm going to simplify it. But what's really nice is that ends up just being 24. So it's a good idea to check that you can simplify any fractions. And sometimes what's nice is they turn into these just nice, neat numbers like 24. So we can start making these proportions slightly more complicated, but if we follow the same process and use our solving equations knowledge, we can do this the same way. I'm going to multiply the top of one fraction by the bottom of the other. When I have something like this that's more complicated than just a letter, we're going to put that in parentheses to show I'm multiplying 9 times this whole thing. And that should look familiar to you because we've done stuff like that. 2 times 5 on the other side. And just like I'm going to multiply 2 times 5 and get 10, I'm going to multiply 9 times n plus 8. That means we have to distribute like we did earlier this year. 9 times n is 9n. And 9 times 8 is 72. And now I can solve this equation. I want to move the 72 to be over with the 10. Right now, 72 is being added because there's a plus in front of it. So when I move it over, there will be a minus. And always, if you need some help with subtracting positive and negative numbers, go ahead and use Desmos. 10 minus 72 is negative 62. I need to move over here to have space. Right now we have 9 times n. 9 is multiplying n. We're going to bring it over here. If it's multiplying the n over here, it's going to divide by 62. So we're going to go ahead and check this in Desmos. Negative 62 divided by 9. We get a nasty decimal. We're going to click the fraction button over here and see that it's the same thing. So that means we can't simplify this. So negative 62 over 9 is as simple as it gets. That's our final answer. Let me do one last one before I ask you to practice. As always, if you're stuck as you're going through this, please ask me for help while you're working before you are trying to do practice alone. I'm going to multiply one top of one fraction by the bottom of the other. I'm going to use my parentheses around that complicated r minus 4. Then I'm going to multiply 10 times 7. And then I can get 70 for that. And while I have this number next to this parentheses, I can't combine r and negative 4 because they're not like terms. However, I can multiply 6 by both of them. 6 times r is 6r. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. And then I can continue solving this. I'm going to move this 24 over here. Right now it's being subtracted. So when it moves over there, it's going to be added to 70. And then that 6 next to the r is multiplying the r. And so when I move it over here, instead of multiplying, it's going to divide 94. So 94 divided by, oops. We get a nasty decimal that I'm going to click this fraction button over here. We can simplify a little bit to 47 over 3. So go ahead and make sure you take advantage of the fact that Desmos will help you simplify these fractions. We don't want nasty decimals. We want fractions as our answers, but they should always be in the simplest form they can be. So go ahead and take advantage of that by using this little fraction button over here. So I do have 10 problems for you today to solve. Solve each proportion, choose the correct answer, and of course, put your answer choice into the appropriate answer box. If you need any help while you're working through this, always call me over for help. You should be doing this in your notes so that you are writing these problems and going through the steps, just like I did in the lesson. Take your time on these, ask for help when you need it, and good luck.